This is Drug Deals to Businessman Weekly Tap In, and I'm tapping in. All right, y'all know the deal. It's a really exciting day today. I got my tan. I'm wearing my tan, so I've been outside all weekend, getting some of that high quality vitamin D. Make sure you guys who are tapping in for the first time put your city where you're representing in the chat. Go ahead and so we can acknowledge you, give you a shout out. As we always do, we'd like to acknowledge our audience all over the world who taps in with us on a weekly basis. Man, we could not do it without you guys. Thank you. Man, what is good? God, life, all things. This is episode number 13, man, of season 3, man. So we're working on longevity, episode 13 of season 3. Lessons, right? What's going on, Samuel? Lessons, blessings, and miracles, dog. That's what this is about. Lessons, blessings, and miracles. Key to life. What's going on? John's pedal pushes in the building, man. I see you got rid of that tray that you had. I saw it on that. Yeah, my man, a low rider. What's going on? Anthony, appreciate you, homie. Lynch, mom in the building. What's going on, my brother? Appreciate you guys all tapping in, man. I could not do this without you cats, man. So sincerely, man, those who are listening around the world, blessings, lessons, and miracles. That's it. That's it. It's really that simple. Blessings, lessons, and miracles. And when you think back of that simplicity, like start to really like take some time and analyze that. I'm either blessed, there's a miracle about to happen, or I'm learning something. Really simple. In every aspect, even the negative, right? Going to the pen. That's a blessing, a lesson, and a miracle. And let me tell you why. Most people can't understand. They're like, man, prison? You got to start from scratch. Your record's fucked up. I was just looking at my certificate of rehabilitation. Got one. A lot of cats don't know how to do that. Get your certificate of rehabilitation. It's an automatic application to a pardon, right? A lot of people don't know that in California. So get your certificate of rehabilitation. Keep that. Keep it locked up and tucked safe so people can see, man. Yeah, I've been, convicted of a crime, but I'm technically, according to the state of California, I'm rehabilitated. Right? I didn't go back. Haven't done anything else since. I've been a model citizen. Go to juvenile halls and speak. Try to prevent the youth from doing the same things that I did. So that's the key right then. A lot of people don't know that. So apply. You got to go through your public defender's office. Ask for the certificate of rehabilitation. They may have it in your state, wherever you guys are residing. If you got a criminal record, it's not going to expunge it. It's not going to get rid of the felony, but it definitely shows that you're on a path to rehabilitation. So I think about that. What's going on, Kahis and Tanisha? I see y'all. Harold's in the building. So when you think about it, like even in going to the pen, I said that's a 3-piece combo, right? It's a blessing, it's a lesson, and it's a miracle. And when you get there, it's everything but that. You got to go through the county experience. So you sitting for 4 or 5 months in the county. Then after you already get your time, you got to go. And in the county, it's its own set of drama, right? You got cats that's upset, mad. They don't know how much time to go get. It's just a big old ball of stress in the county jail. Some people going home, flying out. Shout out to my boy Fat Cat. We was both catching the chain. We was just waiting on it, right? And those who've been behind them, walls, you understand what that means. And basically what that means is, for those who don't know, you catching the prison chain going wherever you're going. So we went to Wasco, which is a reception center. And it's like a Penn County jail. So it's a big old giant. It's cats from everywhere, mainly south. It's not a lot of northern cats. We had a few cats from Fresno in there. That's about as high as it went. We had a few Yay cats, but it was mainly Southern California cats, right? So it was a Compton car, San Diego's, the B-Dogs, Rips, all that Latinos. It was all mixed up. And this is where, speaking of which, this is where I wrote this at. You could see on here, I think, what does it say? on one of these, you can see it says Wasco Reception Center. So this is where I actually wrote this, which is crazy, right? Right. So now taking it back to that blessing. I wouldn't have wrote that if I hadn't been there. Right. The route I was going, man, I had money, I had drank, I used to smoke water. It was I was riding around with Mac 90s and really, really tripping. All right. And you think about that, and God sit up there and he look at you and say, man, I got a better, this isn't how the story's supposed to go, homie. I know you may think it's supposed to go this way, but no. I'm gonna have you sit down for a second. I'm not gonna let you go to the extreme where you end up tagging somebody and I'm gonna sit you down for 25 or better. I'm gonna sit you down for a couple, make you think about it. I'm gonna take everything away from you. I'm gonna strip you all the way down. You ain't gonna have shit. No money, no job, and I'm gonna put you a square behind. Right? There's the lesson, right? The blessing is taking me out of rotation. Because if I was still in rotation, I might not be here talking to you today, right? Somebody might have got at me. Who knows what could happen, right? But that's taking me out the streets. Now it's the lesson, right? So the lesson is, what do you need to learn while you're in here, right? Well, you don't need to know. You don't need to get more advanced to what you've already know, right? You don't need to get more advanced to the streets. You don't need to learn how to get extras off the work, right? Even we was getting extras already, right? We was putting a whoop on it, but we didn't need to go that far, right? So and here I am. When I first got there, don't get me wrong, I got my Walkman E4. I'm still plotting. I'm doing the math. I'm figuring out how much work is, basing it on according to this price. You know, my discipline. I should be at this price, right? You always heard the term, man. You want God to laugh? Tell him your plans. And that's what I'm telling them. All right, I'm gonna do the exact same thing I was doing before I got in here. All I got to do is just, remove a few of those mistakes that I made, and I should be fine. And that's how I really believe. And the reality didn't hit me until I got home. Whole time I was in there, Bakersfield cats. There was a lot of Bakersfield cats in there that they telling their stories. I'm like, I stopped telling mine because theirs sounded way better than mine. So I'm like, man, I don't know how y'all making this stuff. He was getting gigs for like 9,000. It was just unbelievable. Really? And you in this jail? You should be in the other kind of jail. But anyways, I didn't realize it until I came home. And once I came home, I was like, dude, I can't catch up. Tickets not the same. The places and pieces aren't where they were. Just that fast, right? Just that fast, you miss. You out of place. That's the lesson. You can't go maintain something where the intent wasn't right? And I met a cat named Angelo from Santa Barbara, square cat. But he told me then, he looked at my plans when I was in the pen. He just laughed at it. He said, you know what, young brother? He said, there's no right way to do the wrong thing. I was like, what? He said, I'll repeat it for you. I'll say it a little slower so that you understand. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. And that's when it kind of hit me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, so no matter what my intent is, if even if I have good intent, if I'm doing the wrong thing, it's not going to bubble. Period. If I'm in the wrong position, it's not going to work. Right? So it got harder and harder. Homies switched. Oh, I'm doing credit card licks. I said, I don't mess with that stuff. I'm a D boy. I mess with rocks and powder. I don't even want no brick weed because this was way before all this exotic stuff. It was still around, but cats wasn't moving it like that. You know what I'm saying? It was regular Mexican brick. Well, I ain't interested in that. And everybody's, oh, we selling crystal, man. And I'm like, I'm a late 80s Wallaby, Turkish chain, D-boy, Suzuki sidekicks, dog. And that was, you know what I mean? That's the mentality I came with. And I'm like, this ain't popping anymore. This ain't for me. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? And I found myself out of place. Again, the lesson. You need to graduate, youngster. And I'm like, well, how do I do that? It's not about elevating in the wrong game, right? Because I could still use those skills. Jay-Z always said, right? Nothing wrong with our aim. Our targets was off. You know what I'm saying? So our discipline, our work ethic, all those things were there. The target was off. The lesson. right? And it was like, man, what am I gonna do? You don't have any skills. You spent all that time in the game and you can't take none of that shit with you. Oh, but I can. And it took me a long time to figure out how to apply these same skills that I had in the streets. Intuition, right? Relationships, marketing. You know what I'm saying? All these things that I learned in the street, supply chain management, all those things that I learned. I didn't know the titles of them, right? So I had to go to school in order to wrap things around those concepts that I knew existed. And I knew how they ran in the dope game, but I didn't understand how they worked in the real world, and I didn't know how to translate that. So that was my goal. How do I get to apply these? Because God didn't take me down this path for nothing. He didn't give me that much time in the game. I've been at this shit since the late 80s. To keep it 100, 89, I think. 89, 90 was when I got in the game. About 89 with some weed and some rocks and shit, like a 40 up. But that's a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But why you gonna give me that much time in this and not let me use it to my advantage? God, you ain't in that kind of business. I know who you are. And it took, like I said, it took me a long time to really understand that. So as I started, I had to check myself in the school. One of the good things about it was a cat that I used to get work from was always in school. And I remember when he went to school, he didn't take it as far as I took it, right? But when he was in school, he was always busy. He would never call you paging the cat. He never hit you back. I'm in class. I'm in class. I'm like, damn, we need to go to school. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't do this forever. We just sit in ducks if this is all we're doing. If we're busy, we're here up at, we can learn something. We can get a little, there's girls up here. It was all, you know what I'm saying? With several reasons outside of why we end up really taking advantage of it. And once I got to school, I started to understand things a little bit different. I understood business, I understood planning, I understood measurements, I understood some of it. And I'm like, well, I already know this stuff. I know this stuff from cooking to work and da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? But how do I apply it? You know what I'm saying? How do I position myself? And as D boys, we had to position ourselves. Did you look like you had work? Were you low key with it? Were you low key? You know, there was different brands of work, right? Everybody wasn't the same type of D boy. Different brands, and that's when I started to understand branding. Okay, he the bummy looking D boy. You know, everybody had them neighborhood bummy looking ones who care nappy, but he got it though, right? That's a brand, right? Or the one who looked like he got it, but kind of got it, right? Or that one where you see it's a youngster like we was young at it. You know what I mean? It was different. We were young and heavy with it. So there was that kind of brand, right? We out there, we youngsters, you know what I'm saying? These cats, you know, so there's different brands, and that's what made me understand the branding part. I'm like, oh, okay. This can be applicable in the game too, because there's different types, right? And we would always we had good cologne, right? So my goal was when I leave, you smell it. You know I was there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, damn, the work then arrived. You know what I'm saying? So that was our brand, right? We had Elco's, you know what I mean? It's stuff we just that little different flavor. You knew we wasn't locals, right? So that was my first introduction to branding, but I didn't know what branding was called until I got to school. And I started understanding logos and color schemes and brand colors and all these different things that I would have never picked up had I not went to school. So again, the lesson is that sometimes it's a 10, 20-year lesson, right? But that's okay. Last night I was just watching The Foods That Built America. You guys know I watch that every Sunday. Really good, A&E. I think they have a podcast too. Not to take you away from this podcast, but I think they have a podcast too. And last night they were talking about Taco Bell and Arby's. Very interesting, different types of businesses. But failure was one of the most common things that were involved. So I highly encourage you guys to watch it. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but starting off and things like that and understanding, right? How things work, how people started that didn't know much, right? Still created. Understanding how branding, differentiation, colors, like I said, colors, logos, positioning, right? How do you position your product? I remember when we first got we was up there in the high desert, Boulders. It was a cat in Atlanta. There was only like 3 or 4 cats would work out there. Wasn't like it is now, trust me. And his thing was he wouldn't sell you a double up, but his boulders were so big that you could still cut them in half and make your money. And we started understanding the concept of then give them more, right? Shut everything down, eliminate the competition, give them more. So all these business concepts we've been practicing for 20, 30 years. We've been knowing this stuff, but we couldn't wrap our minds around it, right? A lot of us are thinking our skills are over with. Man, God may take you for that lesson for a long time, but the miracle is coming. And that's what I had to understand these things, right? The Dream Giver, the book that I couldn't remember last week that I was trying to tell you guys about. My mom asked me about it. And he talks about that, how to leave that town called familiar. And that's the one thing I needed to leave, that town called familiar. Because we're always doing what we used to do. It's hard to change. We get into these habits, right? Same response, same everything. We got to change that. And when you read that book, The Dream Giver, and I always recommend it, you hear me talking about it on a consistent basis, because it talks about that wastelands, man. And I tell you, that's when that lesson happened, is when you're in the wastelands. I remember being so far gone from the game where I couldn't relate to anything they were talking about. I didn't want to know nothing about no droughts. I had got so out of touch, I didn't even know the price. When they told me the price for a kilo now, I was like, you serious? Whoa. You know what I'm saying? So that's how far out of it I removed myself. My language has changed. I remember I went to a show with one of the homies, and he had all his homies there. My whole language changed, my whole approach to it, because I can't be street in a corporate atmosphere, right? You have to be able to switch it up, bottom line. So that was one of the things. Again, my lesson. You're not going to get your miracle until you pass the lesson. You're going to get blessed, though, and it may not seem like it, right? Fired, removed from a job, kicked out of a group. Somebody don't want to talk to you anymore. Somebody getting their feelings like, oh, dude, don't never do. Everything is a blessing, whatever happens, right? Once you relinquish control and you say whatever happens is for it, it's supposed to happen this way, it changes your whole perspective on life, and you start enjoying it a lot more, right? You start manifesting and bringing the things that you want in your life. We talked about how your dreams don't like desperation. They don't like desperation. They don't want you chasing it around, chasing my goal. Up, whoa. Gotta get up at 5, 6 in the morning. No, you don't. That's all cap. That's what worked for you, homeboy. You know what I'm saying? My genius time may be 7, 8 o'clock at night. Might be 2 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's wired different. That's why advice is so damn subjective. You can't believe what somebody says will work for this cat may not work for you. So that's that, right? But again, going back to my story, the lesson, I'm gonna tell you when the miracle transition started. Right? The miracle transition started when you start to walk towards. I was talking to somebody last night. I said, you know something, now I have more than I ever had in the game now. But we were so broke. Oh, it was bad. Repos, evictions, you name it, collections, creditors calling my job, embarrassing me, all that. That's part of the lesson, right? All of that. You're supposed to go through that. If you haven't gone through that yet, go ahead, tighten up your seatbelt, homie. And you know what I'm saying? If it's destined for you, you get ready to get that. God get ready to see if you really want it, homie. Trust me on that one. And most people tap out, right? Tap out before they even get started. This is hard. This is new. This is different. I've had to adjust myself so much that I've lost myself, at least the person I thought I was. And I keep evolving and changing, so I'm somebody different than when you met me last year. Because I have more information. Because I've been exposed to things since then. My demeanor's a little bit different. This is when the miracle starts to happen, when you start to change into who you're supposed to be, which is not who you are right now, which is not who you were 5 or 6 years ago, which is not who you were 10, 20 years ago. And a lot of people are basing how they deal with you on those interactions. And you like, homie, I've been updated, dog. Hopefully you have too. Some of you seem like you missed a few updates, dog. plug your ass in, turn it off, and you know what I mean? Pressure. Let me get my updates. Like on your phone, you avoiding that. Hey, some of y'all need to update yourself too. You know what I'm saying? I asked my students today about books. Books. Yeah. How do you get new information? How do you learn anything? How do you get exposed to anything? Right? There's limitations on entertainment, right? It'll give you so much. Sometimes you're gonna have to pick up one of them things, right? And not one of them things, but one of those books. That's how I succeed, right? I'm always buying books. I invest in my books. I'm not even gonna front. I spend a lot of money on books consistently. That's what's helped me become who I am. You know what I'm saying? So now I look at everything in three parts. What is this? Soon as it comes, right? So I had my son call me with his drama right before we got on. What is this? This is a lesson, right? You need to remain professional and focused at all times. If you keep letting these things distract you, you'll still be in the same position next year. These are the lessons. Is this a miracle? I don't know, right? It might look like it. Let me see. Let me take advantage of this. Let me go to that conference. Let me call this person back. Let me go to that party. Because that miracle may be in there. You don't know. That's why it's such an being in the right now, not too far in the future, not in the past, but being in the right now, right? Present. That's all we have. And that's where the miracles happen, right? When we're looking for them. Oh man, I can't wait for a blessing, man. You already have one, dog. It's right in front of your face. Go outside, open your refrigerator, look at yourself. You're a walking miracle. So why wouldn't miracles continue to happen to a miracle? You're one of millions and millions. You wouldn't even be here. A lot of people didn't make it. You did. What you gonna do with it? Hopefully a lot. Hopefully a lot. Because God will give you the opportunity every day to show the world that miracles still take place. Every single day. I'm walking to college. I'm sitting up there walking amongst my colleagues that I used to be hoping they give me an A. Now I'm walking next to them, going in. I went and interrupted one because I left my sunglasses. And I'm like, I remember when I was one of these students. What a miracle. I remember also when I went to reception. I remember catching a chain and I was sitting next to 3 essays. And they gave us some peanut butter and shit. So I've been on both sides of it. So I've seen, you know what I'm saying? So when I see where I am today, I'm like, well, geez, man, God, you killing it. I had an idea what I thought I wanted, but what you gave me, beyond my imagination. I would have never thought about anything like this. I would have never thought I'd be living in LA. I wouldn't have believed it, right? My wife believed it. And that's the thing, right? Whatever you believe, you're right. Whatever you don't believe, you're right. Our beliefs are everything. And if you believe you can, of course you can. You believe you can't, it's not going to happen. Period. So how do we adjust our beliefs? How do we start to believe in more? How do we start to create with our thoughts? Because we've had the conversation about the police getting behind us and how we can create our own destiny. How do we do it from a positive standpoint? You can't be desperate. We talked about desperation, how that chases your dreams away. So what can we do, right? How do we get our beliefs up? We know how to get our bars up on our phones. We know how to do all the. How do we get our beliefs up? How do we do it? That's the key. How do we believe in more? How do we expect it without being disappointed? That's a relationship with God. That's an intimate relationship with God. And if he has shown you over time, because that's all we have is our own stories. Those are connections. We may hear about other people's miracles. We don't know how true they are or how they relatable they are, but we know about our stories. We write them down. We can refer back to them, and for future reference. But how do we increase our belief? We believe in how was it with church and Jesus and all this stuff, right? Because it's been fed to us for so long, and because everybody else around us believed it, which is called social proof. right? Dr. Robert Cialdini talks about influence, right? Social proof is one of them. Reciprocity is one of them. Authority. And well, reciprocity, and for those who I'm pretty sure you guys all know, but I got to give in order to get, right? It's a working relationship. I got to give first. It's not just a take type relationship. If I want to influence somebody, also social proof. If other people are involved, if other people buy into it, social proof. Then it must be popular, right? The nightclub, the restaurant with the line out the door. We don't go to the restaurant that's got the empty line. We go to the one that, man, it got to be good. All these people standing in line. What if that's all their relatives and you just paid them to go do that? Similar to what Taco Bell did. Taco Bell did that. So we're watching it, not to spoil it for you guys, but I'm not. I'll just tell you a little bit. When he started the franchise, he wanted to convince people that if they bought a Taco Bell, which is still one of the lowest franchising fees, by the way. So if you were ever interested in Taco Bell, it's one of the lowest franchising fees. But for those who are and were able to get a franchise, that they will be rich. And what he did was he kept the franchisee. There was one franchisee, and they opened their first store in Torrance, and the franchisee was supposed to spend all this money, buy boats, buy houses, and the Glenn Bell would run the shop and prove to people that as you get these Taco Bells, you're gonna be rich, balling, you'll buy whatever you want. So it was fronting too, right? So a lot of times, that's that fake it till you make it. Do whatever it takes. And I'm a firm believer in that. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the belief that it's going to pop anyways. I'm a firm believer, period. Whenever this is supposed to take off, it'll take off. It's taking off fine right now. I have exactly who I want. I know there's D-boys on this chat. I know there's D-boys listening. Mission accomplished, period. I don't need Lizzo. Lizzo don't sell D. I don't need her to, you know what I'm saying? I don't need Will Smith. He don't sell D either. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? Mitchie Slick. That's a relatable. He's a homie from the town. You know what I'm saying? So D, we grew up in the same era. We know the same people. Like literally, like when I bring up certain names, only a certain group of people know what I'm talking about. So, and he's one of them. But anyways, and that's not to put the 10 on me or anything like that. It was just you. If you was around that time, then you knew who I'm talking about. If you weren't, that flew over your head. But again, that's what this is designed for, right? So the miracle I'm becoming is what I've been looking for. And a lot of times that'll be the same thing for you. You'll be the miracle that you're looking for, right? Damn, I've been looking for somebody. Be that for somebody else, right? Be that for society. Go show the world that things are possible, right? God wants to work through you, right? You're a catalyst to show the world that things are still popping, period. So go out there and explore, ask for more. You got to try things. You have to try different stuff to see which ones work and the opportunities will come. My neighbor just came with a hell of a miracle opportunity this morning, period. Just out of nowhere with no effort. Right here I am looking for events. He come with the mega major. Here, handed it to you. All you need to do is take care of this. What? Yes. So miracles don't require a lot of effort. They don't require you to break your neck. You feel like you're breaking your neck, you're going the wrong direction. You're probably pushing it away, right? It's just like that girl that you try to overdo it for. She don't want to see that. You're up there doing flips, down there about to kill yourself to impress her. When she want a hamburger, she low-key hungry, right? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to. A lot of times we think we got to do bend over backwards to create our miracle. We got to go work 50 hours a week. You got to work 50. Man, let me explain something to you. Right? You thinking Mark Zuckerberg worked 50 hours a week to build that? I don't think so. He had a hell of an environment and people speaking life into him. You don't have to work 50 hours, 100 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? Let that, it's a new day now, right? Technology does a lot of that work for us. So I don't want to hear that anymore. What else have we got, right? What type of belief system do you have? What type of protection system do you have, man? Because don't forget about it. As you start to climb and elevate, man, you're going to get attacked. I was riding down the freeway chilling today. Some drunk fool from Coachella hanging halfway out his Tahoe spraying water on everybody. You could tell he's still high off of mushrooms and shit. About to get shot on the 10. Right? So you can't let that kind of stuff bother you because as I'm doing that, I'm like, okay, I'm on my way to go do mine. And every time I'm on my way to do this, oh man, you got to realize who comes. Oh, he comes. He comes in the form of family members. He comes in the form of random things that are trying to attack you. Brings it. Man, I can't let you get it all. Right? That should even solidify it even more so. Where'd that come from? Computer powered up, everything's working fine. Boop. I told you guys. Every day. There'd be mic issues, you name it. He don't want me to get this message off. You figure who has the least resistance when it comes to things like this? Who does? It ain't hard to do dirt, is it? Shit is damn near the most easiest thing you could think of. This kind of stuff, you're gonna constantly run into problems and challenges. I mean, it's inevitable, right? And what do? Roll with the punches. You can't stop what was destined, homie. But poof, out of nowhere, gone, right? Gone. That crazy? And that's just how the enemy works. So as I'm telling you guys that, what does he do? Take me off, takes you off focus, gets you to drift. Now let me go over here. And sure enough, you may run into whatever you were trying to avoid by watching this podcast. I'm telling you, man, it's beyond us, homie. It's beyond us. And that was the perfect example of what can happen when you're trying to do something amazing. When you're trying to change the world, i.e., change yourself, because once you change yourself, the world's going to follow suit. What you think is going to happen? Stuff like that. Lose your keys. They'll be raiding your car, right? Just stuff to just all I need to do is throw him off just a little bit, right? I don't need to be thrown off a lot, just a tad bit. If I can throw him off just a little bit, misconstrues his message, gets his everything just a little bit off, I got him, right? And that's what it takes. It's subtleness. It's not the everyday heavy stuff. It's the subtleness. That's what it gets you, right? Subtle, real subtle. Turn his electricity off. Power outage. Ring goes off. Random stuff just to get your attention off of what you're supposed to do. Because if you focus, this is when the miracle takes place. We've already got our blessing, right? A lot of times they don't look right. They don't. And one of the things that we need to get in our head is there's nothing else that exists. Blessings, lessons, and miracles. That's it. There's nothing else that exists. Even things that seem tragic are there's one of the three things that are involved in that. Period. What did I learn? Right? My grandmother passed away. What did I learn? Love on people, show up, and go see them. Not that I didn't with my grandmother, but that one time that I didn't, I missed it. So that was my lesson, right? That was enough for me. The miracle is she always spoke life into me. She kept that college catalog there, and every time I come over there and leave my money or count my money with them or whatever I was doing with them, they be loaning me money too, man. Hey, man, grandparents is money, but you know what I'm saying? She would always have that college book out. Hey, the semester's about to start. She knew who I was before I did. Period. She knew who I was before I did. And you'll get that. You'll get a spirit, an angel. God got them down. There's demons and angels walking around. That's it. And some look more like demons than others. I'm just saying. But that's what's walking around down here. And they're looking to bless or block you. Period. You know what I mean? Get your attention. They want to bless you or block you. And you need to figure out who's doing what, who's speaking life. And that was the one thing my grandmother always did. She would speak life into me, knew who I was, never gave up on me. And if she would have bet, she'd be cashing it in right now. Told y'all. And that's how we have to be, right? Because God's saying that about us. Told you guys. This is who this is. And he'll expose you and give you things that maybe you think are out of your league. You think perceptually, right? That this is out of my league. I can't. God, like, man, what? Like LA, oh man, LA. City, woo woo. Man. God knows what's up. He wouldn't have me here if he didn't. I'll be in New York. It don't matter where it is. It doesn't matter. I've learned how to deal with people, learn how to talk and get interested in things. I'm not limited. And the way I do that, I started off practicing. Got better and better and better, right? Moved down, moved away, got away. That's what you got to do sometimes because people always try to remind you of what they think you are, period. Right? Always try to. Doesn't matter. They'll say certain things, right? They'll have those stories. Oh man, you remember I remember when I graduated though, homie. I remember when I walked across that stage, man. And I remember when I went to Dave and Buster's and partied afterwards. That's what I remember. I don't remember that shit. And sometimes you'll disappoint people, but so what, man? This is your story, your life. Don't trade it in. Don't compromise it. Don't adjust it. Don't do none of that for anybody. Period. Your kids, but I think they'll benefit more by you going after your dreams and showing the world who you actually are than by you compromising, than by you spending more time focusing. Man, show them, dog. Show them. My son asked me all the time, would you teach today, Dad? He always asks me that. What'd you teach today? Oh, we talked about, positioning, talked about supply chain management. He'll try to apply himself to it. Like, oh, so that means this. Okay, dude, you're gonna be, if I keep on just exposing you and just keep being who I am and keep jumping these hurdles, you're just gonna keep watching me and you're gonna figure out how to do it too. We keep opening these businesses, you're gonna figure out how to do that shit too. You know what I'm saying? You keep doing all this stuff, you're gonna figure out how to do it too. And that's the key. That's the key. Exposure. Show them better than you could tell them. Show them the miracle you are. Tell them the stories. Show them the goals written on prison paper with toothpaste on the wall. That's the kind of stuff that they'll connect to because they want to be better than that. Right? Blessings, lessons, and miracles, homie. That's it. There's nothing more than that. The sooner we start to understand that, apply it to our lives, and look at the world in that. Like, man, you a blessing, you a lesson, or a miracle. Everybody, right? You run across, man, which one are you? You a demon or an angel, or you a blessing, a lesson, or a miracle? That's how I'm classifying everybody and everything, right? So you call me with some bullshit, man. Okay, you on demon status. You must be a lesson, right? Somebody call me with man, my angel match. Here come my miracle or my blessing, right? And we just change our perspective on things and just look at it like that. Blessings, lessons, and miracles. That's it. God's still in the business of all three. That's what he does to us. That's what keeps us who we are, right? Blessings, lessons, and miracles. What would we do without them? We don't have problems. What are problems? What are problems besides lessons, right? Because when we're doing math or whatever, here's some arithmetic problems. What are they? Arithmetic lessons. They're teaching you how to work a problem, albeit sometimes there's no instructions. Now, that's a different game. Now, you understand how God works with that. You get the lesson after the test, man. So, hey, you probably, when you get your lesson, you probably already like, man, shit, I would have failed like this test 3 or 4. Yeah, okay, well, here goes the lesson, right? And I told you guys last time about using your study guides, which is your journal. Here's what I've been through. Here's my notes. And most people, I'm too cool to journal. Man, it's therapeutic, homie. It is therapeutic. You can get it off because everybody's not going to understand you. Sometimes you're going to have to say things that you want to get off your list, and people aren't going to give you the response you're looking for. And it's going to disappoint you. But you don't need to be moved by emotion or whether somebody's feeling good or bad or in a good. You don't need any of that. What you need to just focus on your intention. That's it. Lessons, blessings, and miracles. And what are my intention? What did I intend to do is going to have a huge impact on my results, right? Whether it's for me or not. I'm patient. Time don't mean shit to me. I don't even know how old I am anymore. It doesn't even matter, does it? It really doesn't. I'm such and such because once you start doing that, you give yourself anxiety. I need to do this by this date, man. I'm just glad I'm here and being able to see this stuff, right? They're about to have automated cars and I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So I want to, man, I don't know how old I am. This is man's construct. I have no idea. I know that I've been here before because I've seen some shit. And I'm like, okay, so I might be centuries and hundreds of years old. Who knows how this shit really works? You understand? So I don't know how old I am. Honestly, I don't. And I don't care. And I'm not measuring things according to how everybody else does. Fuck that. I'm individual. I have individual demands, needs, desires, wants, interests, not team. I have my family, but that's my family. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be your own individual. And you got your own obstacles, you got your own hurdles, you got your own everything. But one of the things that that those translate into blessings, lessons, and miracles. That's it. There's no problems. There's no obstacles. They can all be categorized under those three, period. And once you understand that, you'll start to look for your blessings, lessons, and miracles. Hopefully you see some this week. Hopefully you see some tomorrow. You may see some people that look like demons and angels, but just understand they can be categorized too. Blessings, lessons, or miracles. That will conclude our weekly tap in for this week. Oh, I did have a new book that I just got. I got it from the library though. It's talking about Black America and franchises. She goes into McDonald's a little too much, so I'll share that with you guys next week. I'll show you the title. I'll pull it up. But I'm back on my The Magic of Manifesting. So that's actually what I'm listening to on the way to work today. The Magic of Manifesting. Really good book on how to manifest things in your life. First thing it says is not to chase them. Don't get desperate on them. All right. So that will conclude our weekly tab. Thank you guys for joining me. Make sure you hit the subscription. If you are watching this on a replay, we appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button down here on YouTube. If you are listening on a podcast, man, leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, any of those, man. We appreciate each and every word and each and every minute you spend with us. God bless. I'm tapping out.